Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDNTV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications.
Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade recently presented a budget of 277.7 billion naira to the Cross River State House of Assembly for the 2021 financial year. Governor Ayade, during the budget presentation, said its main target was economic empowerment and job creation. The budget, christened Budget of Blush and Bliss, marks a major departure from previous budgets both in its figure and targeted outcomes. Cross River State, under the Ayade administration, had consistently implemented the highest annual budgets in the last 3 years, despite being one of the poorest states in Nigeria. In 2018, Governor Ayade presented a budget of 1.3 trillion naira, tagged Budget of Kinetic Crystallization, to the Cross River State House of Assembly. Available records in the National Bureau of Statistics shows that in that financial year, the state received about 36.95 billion naira from the Federation account and was nowhere close to top 10 earners in internally generated revenues in the Committee of States. In the 2019 financial year, Governor Ayade came up with a budget of 1.04 trillion naira, tagged Budget of Kabbalistic Densification, to drive industrialization in Cross River State. This over-bloated budget was unmindful of the fact that the state's annual internally generated revenue stood at a paltry 22 billion naira. While in 2019 the state's share of annual federal allocations rose to 99 billion naira, there was no tangible source of income elsewhere to fund a budget of over 12 digits. Governor Ayade, who was expected to rethink his budgeting strategy that had left the Cross River State economy in dire straits, decided to throw caution to the winds when in 2020 he concocted a budget of 1.1 trillion naira, which he christened Budget of Olympotic Meristemasis. Sensing the grave implications of Ayade's ill-conceived budgets for the economic well-being of Cross River State in recent years, Inside the Niger Delta had in the month of May 2020 urged the governor to adopt a paradigm shift in his budgeting strategy. Much to the relief of Cross Riverians, Governor Ayade appears to have heeded to wise counsel by slashing the 2021 budget to the tune of 277.7 billion naira. He says the 2021 budget of Blush and Bliss intends to refocus the agenda of his government.
192,511,000,000 naira represents the recurrent expenditure, which represents 69% of the budget. Inside this 69% of the budget, 70% of it is warehouse for youth empowerment, youth development, job creation, massive opportunity to lift people from poverty, humanitarian services, conditional cash transfer, assistance, medical support services, everything that has to do with the values of mankind, putting food on the table, expanding government, just ensuring that citizens are happy.
While presenting the 2021 budget estimates recently to the Cross River State House of Assembly, Governor Ayade practically owned up to the fact that previous budgets of Cross River State under his administration were not in tandem with the people's aspiration for economic growth and development.
We must refocus our agenda and our hope. Therefore, this budget is a mixture. It's a mixture of blush and a mixture of bliss. And therefore, the budget is a budget of blush and bliss. Blush because it's a stain of shame from where we're coming from. Blush because we're going through a situation where our face is red, in pain and in agony. It is blush because we are coming away from our big dreams of our kinetic crystallization, from our Olympotic agenda, and reducing ourselves to a sudden consumptive, primitivistic effort just to reflect on the mood of the time. But it's a source of bliss because our unemployed young people will now have opportunity to smile and be happy that government have shifted from the big dreams to the primary option of feeding the people.
Unlike previous budgets, which allocated about 70% to capital spending, the 2021 budget allocates 69% to recurrent expenditures. Not a few Cross Riverians are relieved that the Ayade administration has finally come to terms with economic realities in a state where poverty has become endemic in the last few years.
Some of these visions and some of these projects did not align with the reality of our resources. Over the years, up to last year, the budget performance has not been optimal. But I think that the present budget is close to reality.
He has adjusted his budget. Some of his major projects are not carried along because he has realized the condition the state has found itself in now is blushy. But what we should be watching out for is the implementation of the budget. Let us pray that even with this little figure, which is closer to reality, let us hope that benefits will fall out for the people.
During the recent NSAS protest that was hijacked by hoodlums across the country, hell was let loose in Cross River State, which recorded perhaps the highest incidence of looting and destruction by vandals. The once peaceful and hospitable state had been reduced to a theater of violence in what many informed analysts attributed to widespread hunger and dissatisfaction among the populace. Before he leaves office in 2023, Governor Ben Ayade has a window of 2 years to correct his past mistakes with budgeting. It is expected that during these last days in the saddle, the professor of environmental microbiology will also allow reason prevail in managing all aspects of the economy in Cross River State.
Inside the Niger Delta,